Absolutely. Yeah. So what we've done here is we're taking MDT 2010, the native tools available from Microsoft, Windows Automated Installation Kit, USMT, and bringing them all together to make it easy for administrators to deploy.
So the idea being, so the IT Pro doesn't have to learn Wake and USMD and MDP and all that.
We take care of all of it for you. Okay. What we have here is Specops OS Deploy. And the first component in it is our image management server. Think of that as your central location. It's going to load now in a second. That's your central location. That's your, your hub.
It's where you keep all your OS images and all the configuration files, everything.
Configuration files, driver management. We're going to define policy, etc., etc. It's going to come up any second.
Sure.
Okay. We've got a lot of deployments going on. Our central location here is the image server. Okay, we'll put this in our hub location. That's going to store. That's where we're going to load our operating systems into. That's where we're going to load our drivers and configure policy. After that, we're going to deploy deployment servers. Okay, these can be based on Windows 2003 or 2 and above. Okay, we'll put these in all of our regional locations. Okay, and we're using DFSR to replicate the content between the two.
What better replication engine could you have?
Dude, we're Active Directory.
And it's already paid for.
Absolutely. Let's leverage the investment that people have already made.
Right.
Okay. So once we have that done, we then get into our image management capabilities. Whoops, excuse me. So we have a couple of options here. Import operating system from original source. Take your Windows 7 DVD or your Windows XP DVD or Windows Vista if you think about moving to it, and just import it natively. We'll read the WIM file for you. We'll unpack it, pull it in. Okay. Or you can build an operating system, patch it, install all of your applications on it, etc.
Customize it, create an OS template.
Absolutely, and then we'll initiate an operating system capture. Okay, zero touch. We're going to initiate the sysprep process for you, upload the captured WIM file, and then we have the ability to import it here and define that WIM file for all of our systems. Okay, we have the driver management catalog. Right? Instead of a user having to figure out what driver do I need where, analyze your environment, figure out what hardware you've got. Go to the Dell website or your HP website, download every single driver associated with your platforms, import them all into here. We automatically inject it into the WinPE image for you. We scan the hardware, figure out what you need, and put the appropriate driver on.
So the WinPE image only contains
what it needs to boot. Basic network drivers, basic video.
And then when it's booted up, it detects what the hardware is and downloads it from your hub server.
Absolutely. As part of our
or your distribution service.
As part of our task sequences in MDT that we automatically build, one of our processes is to detect the hardware type.
Okay.
Okay. And then we inject the appropriate drivers as they're called for.
Okay.
Okay. So now we have our images done, we have our deployment servers done, we have our drivers done. We're now ready to start really deploying operating systems. And this is where it really gets cool. Policy-based management. Okay? We have a default policy here, which is in the event of all else failing and we don't have group policy, we want how all operating systems are going to be installed. So base Windows 7 image, what the passwords are going to be, etc. But the really cool feature is we can also do this within group policy. Override these default settings on an OU by OU basis.
Right, so you can deploy it by business group basically.
Absolutely. So here we have the group policy down here.
And OU is the finest grain?
Yes. Absolutely.
I'm not saying it's a problem, I'm just asking.
No, we can actually do it by user as well, or group.
Okay.
Absolutely. We can do...
Of course that would make sense.
Yeah, filtering. So
you have to be able to do it individually when the CEO wants it today.
Absolutely. Yeah, we can do that. Here I have an OSD deployment policy.
Okay.
And you notice that we've enhanced the group policy management console and we've now got Specops Deploy in there. Okay. So if I click on edit policy.
So that's GPM. That's GPMC, and you've modified the MMC.
No, we've actually
injected
into the
your own snap-in into the framework.
Yes.
Okay.
Correct. Okay. Giving us the ability to configure our group policy. Okay. So here, say for example, sysadmins, I can configure a specific policy for these guys. I can configure what operating system they've got. So for example, in here, if I have multiple operating systems, I can select the appropriate operating system for that particular user. So also sysadmins, we get Windows 7 Ultimate, and our regular Joe users, they get Windows 7 Basic.
Right.
Okay.
And of course, they've got all the extra tools and the remote server admin.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We could do that as part of our capture process.
Right. That's part of the template.
Time, capture it, and then deploy it to our system.
Got it.
Setting the environmental variables. Okay. Different UIs, maybe the way we used to do it back in the day, having OUs by region or by business group, setting what we need, settings down. Gives you the ability as an administrator to say, you know, I only want to capture specific information. I don't want your media. I don't want your pictures. I don't want your personal files. Because we don't want to store that on our network because of intellectual property concerns. Okay?
Right, so you're taking that as the opportunity to clean.
Exclude that, and I only want your My Documents and maybe some custom folders in the location. Okay?
Can you? So that one, of course, it's USMT. You can say nothing with a file type of MP3 or nothing with a
Absolutely, we can exclude that. Okay. So now we have our policy done. I can now start deployment. So as I mentioned earlier on, we do integrate with group policy, we do integrate with Active Directory. So while I can do it from here, we have three options. Pre-stage computer, which is pre-stage a computer by its MAC address or GUID. Computers from a file, get a CSV file from your hardware vendor, read all of them in, and automatically create all of the computer accounts in an Active Directory OU. Or reinstall a computer. Just reinstall the computer with right-click.
In place, right, okay.
What I mentioned, we also integrate with Active Directory. So here we have an OU structure with all of our test clients on it. They're hanging around us here. Okay? You might want to go out and look at these machines over here. Notice that on XP01, I have now an Active Directory user's computer snap-in that says operating system capture or operating system reinstall. Okay? Right from within Active Directory user's computer.
Yeah.
Okay?
Now, can this be scripted also? So if you want to capture all the computers in an OU, if you want to capture their states prior to migration, or
all computers in an OU, we support with PowerShell.
Yeah. Okay. PowerShell scripting.
But you can right-click on an OU, and we have operating system reinstall for an entire OU, if you wish. Okay.
Right. For that, and that's the migration. Reinstall the OS for an entire OU.
Yeah, absolutely. So let me just focus on this guy real quick. Operating system reinstall. Click on reinstall that. It's going to pull in the relevant information about that. I'm going to click execute. And what you're going to see on this computer over here is that it's automatically going to reboot. We are going to pre-provision the WDS Pixie filter to answer a response from this client machine.
Right.
Okay. It's going to boot into WinPE according to the policy that we have set, and automatically load your operating system. So you'll see here, Pixie service request will respond now any second.
Finding the box, downloading it,
and straight into WinPE. And once it gets beyond the Win file, we start booting into the OS.
And then it does. You just simply do the automated install.
Absolutely.
Okay.
The great thing for an administrator, back here.
What should I undo?
Here we have real-time feedback about what's going on in your environment.
Oh, so that is not just pretty pictures. That's showing that there's actually a deployment in process when you got the little.
Okay. So I can right-click on a computer. XP1 is going. I can take a look at show details. It's been installing for 8 minutes and 10 seconds. It's a virtual machine, hence the reason for the icon. If we were deploying a server or a physical desktop, we would see a different icon here. Okay? But I can also take a look at the
I like the dashboard installing duration.
Absolutely. So what I can see here is I can real time click on that machine that's installing right now, XP1, it's behind me, and open the remote log file of that system. I can turn on auto scroll, and it's going to show me every zoom in, make it bigger, smaller.
Oh, I see, and that shows the percentage complete. That's nice.
Absolutely. And the little bubbles are a nice effect.
Yeah, no, I saw that. I thought it was just because it was pretty, but now I understand what you're saying. Is it? Is the log viewer, is that going to be part of Deploy OS, or will that be separate?
No, we're going to actually do it separate, and we're going to include it with this. We're actually thinking about giving the thing away for free.
I'm not,